5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Diary of a Kidney Warrior. Sharing faith, knowledge, hope, and love.
Hi and welcome to Diary of a Kidney Warrior. My name is Dee Moore and I am a stage 4 kidney warrior. This podcast is dedicated to encourage, educate and inspire as we explore all aspects of kidney disease, chronic illnesses and health. If you have any questions or ideas for future topics you would like me to cover, please do get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter using the hashtag Diary of a Kidney Warrior. In today's bonus episode, I will be talking to Leah McLaughlin from Bangor University and the Wales Kidney Research Unit. Leah is here to talk about their new research study, Pregnancy Choices with Kidney Disease, which has just opened to recruitment. It is a UK-wide study looking at women, pregnancy and kidney disease, and the sometimes complex and emotive decisions women face about starting a family. Hi and welcome to Diary of a Kidney Warrior podcast. How are you doing today, Leah?
Really well. Thank you so much for having me.
And it's a pleasure to do something a bit different this episode. We're going to be looking at your research and delving into what it is, what it's about and who it's for. So the first thing I want to ask is tell me about yourself and who is doing the Pregnancy Choices with Kidney Disease study.
I'm a researcher from Bangor University, and I work for the Wales Kidney Research Unit, which is an all-Wales research centre that undertakes research into every aspect of kidney disease. So from basic clinical science, clinical research trials, all the way up to integrated health and social care and standalone social care research. And the latter is what we generally look after in the Wales Kidney Research Unit. So we undertake research looking at how we can improve services, patients' needs, knowledge, wants and understandings of their disease progression, and also standalone research into specific areas of kidney disease. And this is one of the projects that I'm here to talk to you about. We've got a new study which has just opened called Pregnancy Choices with Kidney Disease. And we've got a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary team from across Wales, from Cardiff University, also the Cardiff and Vale University Health Board, so nephrologists, psychologists, renal registrars, social workers, all working together, and patient representatives on this research to look in more depth around the issues around living with kidney disease as a woman, but also the choices and options you face when making decisions about pregnancy.
Right. So it's not just a study about pregnancy and kidney disease. It's about women and how it affects, how they are affected by kidney disease.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, one of the focuses is in and around pregnancy. We want to look more closely at that, but it's also about the wider issues around gender imbalance and living as a woman with kidney disease and the experiences you have as a female, whether that's in clinic or social biases or other areas that you face as women. They're very underrepresented in research generally. So this study wants to fill that gap a little bit more.
What is the difference between this study and, the general studies?
It's a good question, because what we do know from other research that's been published is it can be very clinically led. And also, as I mentioned, have a huge amount of bias in terms of gender. It's generally research trials and lots of studies are quite gender biased and do focus very much on the male perspective. So we do find across, it's a sweeping statement, but generally across research that the women's perspective is sort of missing in research that's out there. And the research team are all women, I probably should have said. It's been led by Sian Griffin she's a consultant nephrologist at the University Hospital of Wales. And we've got Rhiannon Phillips, who's a chartered health psychologist, Denitza Williams, who is from the School of Medicine at Cardiff University, Jane Noyes, who's a professor of health and social services research and child health, and Karen Jones, who's a renal social worker. And we also have Mrs. Helen Williams, who's a patient representative and who's been living with kidney disease for her entire life. And she's a retired nurse from the NHS. So as a team, we want to sort of address this sort of gender bias gap and to undertake some really exciting new research in and around, as I said, women who live with kidney disease and the issues that they face.
Why is this study so important?
Well, actually, so basically, I think women have, they face complex decisions about becoming pregnant in particular, but also decisions about family planning and whether or not to have a family. And, for women with kidney disease, pregnancies need to be carefully planned and monitored. Medications may need to be stopped or altered. And there's risk in terms of that the pregnancy may lead to declining kidney function. And all of these things combined with social biases and those kinds of decisions that we need to make as women who are partners, carers, mothers, wives. We actually know very little about women's knowledge of the way kidney disease might affect family planning and pregnancy. And also we know very little in terms of their needs, in terms of psychological and social support, and also how women weigh up the pros and cons about starting a family whilst living with kidney disease. So that's really what this study is why it's so important to unpack, because there's nothing out there.
What is the study and what is the criteria to be included in the study?
Yes, no, so that's really important. It's a year-long study and it's funded by the British Renal Society and Kidney Care UK, and it's just open to recruitment. So women who are aged 18 to 50 who've been diagnosed with kidney disease by a doctor and who live in the UK are eligible to take part. And ways to take part are through an online survey that we've put together, which asks about various things in terms of your knowledge, needs, support, levels of understanding about your kidney disease. It's very much tailored to you. So what you answer will open up the various other pathways of the survey, but we'll have that open between now and probably around the end of Christmas this year.
How do you take part in the study?
Take part, yes. So we've got on our website is online and it's got a link to the online survey. I can read it out now if it's helpful as well. It's Cardiff Online Surveys, cardiff.onlinesurveys.ac.uk/CKD/engage. But probably the easiest thing is to either go on our websites or our Twitter page, which has a QR code that you can scan straight to the survey. And as I said, it'll ask you a few questions about there'll be open questions to add some further details. There'll be yes or no questions and multiple choice questions. And at the end of the survey is option to share your contact details to potentially take part in a more detailed interview or to hear more about the various research that we've got going on. I should say as well, the survey is completely anonymous, so you can share what you like. So it won't go back to your clinical care team at all. But it is really important that I think people know that this survey is open and that this research is ongoing because, as I said, it addresses a real gap. And we only get to do this research once. And so we need as many people to take part as possible so that we get really good data and we can learn the most.
What can the participants expect if they take part?
Well, sure. It takes, when you go online to the website, it takes about anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes to fill out. And it starts off asking about, just basic questions around consent and that you fit the inclusion criteria. And then it's make sure that you're eligible. You're in the UK and you're eligible to take part. So basic yes and no questions. And then it also goes on then to ask you about your kidney disease and the causes of your kidney disease. And then it will ask you about your choices and your current circumstances. And those will be very particular to you. So what choices you made during your life and the current circumstances that you have. And then it will ask you a little bit about pregnancy and health and well-being. If you've ever been pregnant, like I said, some things might not be entirely relevant to everybody. But I should say as well, it's really important that I said we are looking specifically at pregnancy, but how we learn is by hearing about everyone's story and their experiences. So it doesn't matter whether or not you've decided to have children, whether you don't have children yet, or whether you might in the future, or if you've had any conversations at all, yes or no, it doesn't matter. You're all included, and learning from your experiences is how we can improve outcomes in the future. So we'll also ask you a little bit about your communication with health and social care professionals, what worked for you, how it worked, and who you spoke to, if anybody, about pregnancy and kidney disease. And we'll also ask you a little bit about your information needs. Did you feel like you got enough information, and how we could better support you with more information. We'll also ask about your support networks and the kind of support that's available to you. And a little bit about your experiences during COVID-19. So this study was funded before COVID-19 came into our lives, but we have modified it to ask a little bit about any impacts of COVID-19 on you and your kidney disease, and especially about your decisions about having children or living with your children now. And then a bit about general information. So it's quite an in-depth survey, but as I said, depending on your circumstances, it'll probably take between 15 and 25 minutes to fill out. You don't have to answer all the questions. You don't have to answer any, in fact, but that's what the survey has.
What will you do with the results?
Yes, so the results, it's only a year-long study, so not long to learn. We'll collect all the information from the survey, and we undertake quite complex statistical analysis on the data that we see in order to draw conclusions. We'll also, at the same time, and while the survey runs down, undertake a series of interviews, probably around 30, with a subset of women from the survey who we've identified that we want to learn more about. So to hear more about your depth discussions and experiences, and the things that you've encountered during either making decisions about pregnancy or living as a woman with kidney disease. And we will use those results to make what we call shared decision-making tools, or new shared decision-making tools, should I say. There's not very much out there, to help professionals and women living with kidney disease come to shared decisions and to have more informed learning about their pregnancy and what that can do with your kidney disease. And those shared decision-making tools will be tailored to specific groups, so nephrologists and kidney doctors, as well as obstetrics and gynecology, because women can engage with quite a lot of healthcare professionals during, especially if they're going to have children. So we want to sort of join up the dots a little bit more. So those tools will be made available for everybody then in the future.
How can people get in touch with you on social media?
Well, we have got a website and a Twitter page. The handle for the website's a bit long, so I won't read it out. But if you go to the Twitter page, it's probably the easiest, and it's @kidney pregnancy is the Twitter handle. And in the pinned tweet, should I say, it has all the details of ways to get in touch and the website and further links. Anyone can also contact me on my direct email, which is l.mclaughlin, l.mclaughlin @bangor.ac.uk.
Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing with us about the Pregnancy Choices with Kidney Disease survey. The survey is open now, so please do get in touch and participate in the survey. The Twitter handle is @kidneypregnancy, or you can contact Leah McLaughlin at the Wales Research Unit. So please do participate. There is so many women that can be helped through this study, so please do take part. Thank you for listening to this bonus episode of Diary of a Kidney Warrior podcast. And don't forget that you can contact me via social media on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter using the hashtag Diary of a Kidney Warrior. Please do subscribe to the podcast and please do tell a friend. New episodes of this podcast are uploaded every other Monday. Until next time, take care and choose to live.
Diary of a Kidney Warrior, sharing faith, knowledge, hope, and love.